Hello, friends. It's Raquel from Infinite Succulent back with another moon forecast for you. So, this week on Friday, May 19th, we have a new moon in Taurus. It'll be direct at 8:53 a.m. here in California, and you can figure out what time that is for you, whatever your time zone is. But there is a lot of energy shift happening with this Taurus new moon in particular. First of all, this new moon in Taurus is a sign that we are officially done with eclipse season. So, yay! We made it through another eclipse season. Woohoo! So, once we hit that Taurus new moon on the 19th, we know eclipse season is officially over. Also, we have Mercury stationed direct now, so no more Mercury retrograde. That's stationed direct on the 14th. And there's some other cool astrology happening this week that I'll get into in a minute. But I want to talk a little bit about this Taurus new moon and some of the very powerful manifestation energies that this particular new moon has. Now, all new moons are about manifestation, co-creation, setting intentions, planting new seeds, starting fresh. That is the energy behind every new moon. But this Taurus new moon in particular is extremely influential for those intentions, for those new beginnings, for manifestation and co-creation. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, it's the end of eclipse season. And so with this first new moon since eclipse season has ended, it kind of lets us be back in the driver's seat in our own life. So the way I work with eclipse season is I kind of take a more of a backseat approach, and I don't try and manifest and co-create during eclipse season. I mentioned that in some of the previous videos. It kind of feels like you're just kind of pushing the boulder up the hill, or you're just trying to swim against the current as opposed to turning around and just letting the current take you where you need to go. So eclipse season is kind of a time where you let the universe take that driver's seat and you just kind of sit back and reflect and respond and learn. But now that we have this new moon in Taurus, and the eclipse season is over, it's kind of in that place where we're like, okay, I'm back in the driver's seat. I am steering this vehicle, and I'm back in this place of co-creation and manifestation. Also, Taurus in general has a ton of that energy. Taurus is the first fixed and first earth sign in the zodiac. And Taurus is all about taking these intangible dreams, desires, wants, and making them real. Taurus is about grounding our dreams into reality. Taurus is straightforward. Taurus is supportive and secure, and Taurus wants nothing more than to make things real. So we can really harness the energy of this Taurus new moon for some powerful co-creative magic in particular. Now, if you're interested in learning about working with moon magic or trying to find some rituals that you can do for manifestation, for moon magic, I highly recommend you pick up my book, Everyday Plant Magic. Yes, this is a book about plants and plant magic, but it's really a book about nature's magic. And in the beginning of the book, I talk about working with the moon, working with moon magic. And then I have numerous rituals in the book. And at the end of the book, I actually have, here, I'm going to open it up to you, for you guys. At the very end of the book, on page 150 and 151, I talk about living an everyday plant magic lifestyle, and I talk about how you can use different rituals in the book for different means, for different desires, and I talk about using different rituals for new moon versus full moon rituals as well. So you can find that in my book, Everyday Plant Magic. I will put a link in the video notes below. If you're interested in picking up a copy of this book, I'll put the links there for you. So I'm going to share a little bit about a powerful manifestation spell, manifestation ritual we can use for this Taurus new moon in particular. Before I do that, I want to talk just briefly about some of the astrology of this new moon, some of the astrology around this new moon in particular. So first, I mentioned earlier, Mercury is now stationed direct again. So we're still in a little bit of the retro shade period. That'll be until the end of May. But we might find that communications are feeling a bit more open and free than they have been over the last few weeks. Additionally, right now, Venus, which is the planet that actually rules Taurus, Venus is the planet of love, relationships, finances, values, the home, beauty. And those are all very Taurasian themes as well. So Venus is actually in Cancer right now. And when Venus is in Cancer, there is actually a focus for us on self-care and self-nurturing. Cancer on the shadow side, and I am a Cancer sun, Cancer rising, so I feel this intensely. The shadow side of Cancer is that kind of crab, like reverting back into your own shell and actually being a little bit afraid of being vulnerable. So when we have Venus in Cancer, we're actually being challenged to see our own vulnerability as a strength. I mean, as Brene Brown loves to share with us and has taught us so beautifully, vulnerability is not a weakness. Vulnerability is a strength. And when we show up vulnerably as we really are, we actually make better connections. People really connect with us through our own vulnerability. So there is this beautiful message with Venus and Cancer to lean into your vulnerability and to show up as who you are and also to nurture yourself as well. Additionally, we have another big astrological move this week on May 16th. We have Jupiter, the planet of expansion, moving into Taurus as well. Now, I've heard a lot of astrologers say this is great because Taurus rules finances. So with Jupiter moving into Taurus, that means financially all this money is going to come in, and Jupiter's all about luck. And yes, that is true. Jupiter is great for growing things and expansion, and it is a very lucky planet as well. But the thing about Jupiter is Jupiter just helps things to grow. Jupiter doesn't really care if it's growing things we want or growing things we don't want. That's kind of on us. So yes, there is this possibility for Jupiter moving into Taurus being a really wonderful time for manifesting better finances, relationships. There's definitely this really beautiful potential for growth. But on the shadow side of that, we can also find with Jupiter moving into Taurus that it's growing some things that we don't necessarily want. For example, Taurus can get very, very stubborn and very stagnant or stuck in their ways. And so if we're not careful, we can actually find ourselves with Jupiter moving into Taurus feeling even more dug into our resistance and allowing our resistance to grow as opposed to allowing some more of what we want to grow. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. It's like remembering that we have a choice. So Jupiter moves into Taurus, which is also, it can be a really powerful time for us. And I think one thing that is a really beautiful lesson of Jupiter moving into Taurus is the lesson of moderation. And this is kind of funny because growing up, my father, who is a Taurus, used to say to me all the time, this is one of my dad's lessons that I took to heart. He used to say to me all the time, everything in moderation, which I think is such a really beautiful theme for this Jupiter and Taurus energy, because Jupiter and Taurus does actually help us feel into moderation. Like, what is enough for me? Where in my life do I already have enough? Where in my life do I not have enough and I want more? And where am I in my life do I have way too much and need to actually release and let go of some things? So it's actually a really beautiful time for us to kind of look at both what we want intangibly and what we already have tangibly in the physical, and look to see, like, where do I really want more? Where do I actually want less? And where am I feeling like this is enough? And I think that's a really important, these are important questions for us to ask ourselves, especially in the society we live in, which kind of makes us feel like nothing is ever enough. We're never going to have enough money. We're never going to have enough friends. We're never going to have enough opportunities, right? So it's just good for us to take these moments to check in with ourselves and ask ourselves these questions. And that in that same theme is also this looking at our desires themselves and really trying to ascertain, are these desires truly coming from me? Is this something that I really, really want from a soul and heart level? Or is this a desire that's being programmed into me through society and it's not actually something I want? And Jupiter and Taurus can help us with these questions, help us really feel into what is right for me, what is enough for me. So those are some cool things to keep in mind for this Taurus new moon. With this Taurus new moon, we have a lot of Tauresian energies. The sun is in Taurus, the moon is in Taurus, Jupiter is in Taurus, Mercury is in Taurus, Uranus is in Taurus, and the North Node is in Taurus, all for this new moon. So there's a lot of Taurus energy. Now, that being said, it can be great for manifestation because, as we know, Taurus wants to take the intangible and make it real, make it tangible, make it physical. So that's great for manifestation. But one thing to note with Taurus too is very earthbound, very grounded. And it can lead to a lot of stubbornness and a lot of resistance. Now, I know personally, one thing I've been feeling for the last few weeks, probably since Taurus season began, is almost like this increased heaviness in my body, as if gravity is pulling me down stronger. And it's actually been bringing up some issues for me personally around weight, around body image, and around old eating disorder stuff that I had when I was younger. And I had to sit with that actually. Last week when I was working on my blog for this new moon, I really had to sit with it because I was really feeling stuff I hadn't felt for a long time when it comes to weight and my body and how clothing was fitting me and my worth. And when I actually took a moment to meditate and ask myself, okay, what is this heaviness in my body actually trying to teach me? What do I really want to learn from here? Because it's not what I'm feeling is like I'm not worthy because I put on some weight. That's what my brain was telling me what I was feeling, but I know that's not true, right? So I sat in meditation and I asked my body, what are you actually trying to tell me? And the message that I received was that our worth is not based on anything physical. Our worth is not based on our weight, our size, our skin color, our ability, none of it. Our worth and our deservingness is based solely on our existence alone. And so I'm almost being challenged to have this thing come up where I used to put a lot of my worth into my weight and my size and things like that. That's coming up and being challenged right now so I can recognize my worth is inherent. It's not from anything outside of me. It is from me knowing that I am worthy no matter what. And I really do feel like that is a huge theme with this Taurus new moon in particular, is to truly luxuriate in your worth, to truly allow yourself to feel the sensual feelings, the sensual nature of our own worth and our own deservingness. I think that's really important. And when it comes to manifestation, belief in our own worth is an integral part of manifesting anything. When we want to work on manifestation magic, it's about setting that intention, which we can do with this new moon, but then we actually have to kind of let go and believe that we already have what it is that we're calling in. And that's where worth really comes in. And I think that's another reason why this Taurus new moon is so incredibly powerful for manifestation. Yes, we have the end of eclipse season. Yes, we have the nature of Taurus. And then we also have this beautiful influence to really ground into our worth no matter what. And that is some really beautiful magic for manifestation. So I just wanted to share with you guys briefly a little manifestation ritual you can do that'll be really powerful for this Taurus new moon in particular. And you can find this ritual in my book. It's on page 86. It's called the Mint Confidence Spell Bag. It goes with mint, which you can see right here. So you can find this in my book, Everyday Plant Magic. But what you're going to need for this ritual is a small little jewelry bag, like this one I have right here. Some types of dried herbs, and you can choose, you can actually look in my book and it'll give you some ideas of which ones you can use. Taurus does rule the throat chakra. So any kinds of herbs that are great for the throat chakra are going to be really good for this ritual in itself. I've chosen to use a little bit of this lemon balm and mint, basil, and lavender. Thyme is also another really good one you can use. Actually, Taurus does rule basil, mint, and thyme. So those are three really good options that you can use for this. And if you don't grow your own basil, mint, or thyme, please know that you can use your herbs and spices from your spice rack. You could totally just use basil that you would use, for cooking and yeah, for culinary reasons. You can use that. You can use mint from a tea bag. You can totally use dried herbs from wherever you might find them for this ritual. Depending on what you're calling in, like for example, I'm going to do some rituals around abundance of finances. So I'm going to use a little piece of citrine as a crystal to use for that. I'm also going to choose to use a quarter to represent money, right? So you're going to just gather all your items. You're going to bless them. I talk about how to do that in my book, Everyday Plant Magic. And then all you're going to do once you know what your intention is, what you know what you're calling in, is you write on a piece of paper the feelings that you will feel having this thing you're calling in. You put that in your little spell bag. You put some spoonfuls of herbs on top of that. Bless your crystal, bless your coin, stick those in the bag as well, tie it up. I always like to kind of put it at my heart and do a nice dance to kind of bring up my energy and feel into the magic of the ritual itself. And then this is a spell bag that you can carry around with you. If you're doing something like calling in finances, you might want to keep this in your wallet or your purse. If you're doing something like calling in relationships, especially love relationships, perhaps you want to put it under your pillow or under your bed. It's really up to you. You can use your own intuition. But this is just a really cute little ritual that you can do that's going to be really powerful with this Taurus new moon in particular. So that's what I've got for the Taurus new moon. If you guys have any questions, please reach out. If you like this kind of content, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. I'll be back in a few weeks for our next full moon forecast. And I'll put all the necessary links in the bio. Oh, and if you're looking for journal prompts, let me just share my screen really quick. Here we go. If you're looking for some journal prompts to work with this new moon, this Taurus new moon, you can head over to my moon blog at infinitesucculent.com. Head over to the new moon in Taurus, and at the very bottom of the page here, I talk about all the energies, I talk about the astrology, and then at the very bottom of the page, I have journal prompts that you can use for this new moon in particular. So let me stop sharing now. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again in 2 weeks. Bye.